Okay, welcome to Multiple Streams by Any Means, a podcast focused on showing our people different ways to generate wealth. I'm your host, Bam, and today we got someone that's crushing it with credit. We got my brother, Michael Charles. How you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you a lot, bro.
Absolutely. How you feeling today?
Feeling good, man. Just flew in, just ready to get the day going. To be honest with you,
Nah, I feel you on that, man. So first, we'll just kind of go back to, how you grew up. Where you from, man?
from Florida. So I grew up mainly in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. So I've been pretty much in Florida all my life. Parents are from the Caribbean. My parents are actually Haitian. So
Okay.
so first generation Haitian, really to grow up in the country and really try to
Okay.
do something for myself. So yeah.
How's things growing up for you in the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area?
To be honest with you, I'd say just normal, bro. It's just regular kids growing up in the hood. Parents just trying to do the best that they can to make sure that we grow. Grow in school, go to church. Do the right thing and build a career in a sense, right? So, but just the normal life. So we did move around a lot. Again, my Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. So like originally from Pompano, spent like a couple of years there, then Fort Lauderdale, then Hollandale, then Miramar. If you guys are, familiar with the area, obviously all those names, you would be able to connect with them.
Yeah, I heard of Miramar. It was a company. I partnered with the company. One of the first things I did business wise.
Yeah.
Company was called Arise Virtual Solutions.
Okay.
And it was like one of those companies. They would outsource customer service jobs. Like if you were working for like AT&T or Target or something like that,
Yeah.
they'll have like a work from home
Yeah.
customer service job. So what they'll do is they'll partner with people that have EINs or LLCs, or corporations, and they would give us the power to be like a more like a temp agency or more like a yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
I can hire other people to work from home. But the company Arise, they were based in Miramar, Florida. So that's kind of how I got familiar with them.
Okay.
So coming up, were you like an athlete?
Actually, I did play sports. I played football for the most part. So
Okay.
I had to quit actually, unfortunately. So I grew up playing football. I loved the game a lot. I'm not gonna say I was an all-star, but I did my thing. At the end of the
Yeah.
day. So, but back in high school, obviously, like I said, my parents they worked all their lives, right? They tried to make sure that we grew up and got everything that we needed. At some point, I realized, what, they can't do it for themselves. So I just decided to take the back seat on the football end and really just start working, going to high school, making sure I'll be able to support on the financial front.
Okay, so you were playing football, but basically you got to a point where you had to support the family
Yeah.
and you had to give up your sport. What position you play?
Tight end, wide receiver. So
Okay, anything like entrepreneur wise when you were coming up? Like were you any shape, form, of entrepreneur, business person?
honestly, growing up, never really, because I was always about stability and the whole entrepreneurial route. I had a fear of it because I always felt like that was some type of instability in a sense. But that was my ignorance in the fact of not really understanding how the mindset that I was in was really a trap. Really trapped me into a limited mindset to where I would always have to depend on somebody. So
Right. And don't get me wrong, some people are very attractive to employers where like they'll never be out of a job. But someone for myself, that's what it was about for me. It was just like I don't want no one else to be responsible. I don't want anyone to have full responsibility on whether I eat or sleep tonight. And that's just one of the things I take pride in as because as entrepreneurship does get hard, there are things that pros and cons to everything. So sometimes, sometimes I do take pride in joy and being able to wake up when I want to.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have no sleep as well. But at the same time, just knowing that I found a way to be responsible for myself. So is that's pretty much one of my motivations because I have trust issues. I don't have trust issues, but more so I don't trust that I'm gonna be lucky enough to hold a job that I would like, to get paid what I would like, and to just be able to, I don't feel like anyone's gonna give me exactly what I want. So I just in my head, I'm just like I'm creating, I'm building, and I just feel like the world is more in my hands versus an employer or whatever. So all right, so high school you start having to work. What type of jobs?
my first job was working at Wendy's. So
Okay.
doing the fast food route. So I did that. And, back to the mindset of a worker, I was honestly, in every job that I had, I can honestly say that I was probably the best that did what I did. So going there, working at Wendy's, I was 18, not 17 going on 18. And by that point, I've literally did every position, everything that you can think of. And you had older people that was there for years coming to me for advice. And the only reason I wasn't a manager is because of my age and because, of the fact that I was still in school. So, I had that hardworking mindset, like, everything that I'm doing, I'm giving my all, but I always felt like I was missing something. I always felt like I wasn't given everything that I deserve for the type of work that I was given in, going in, because anything that like my employer would ask me to do, I would do it. You ask me to scrub the floor, you ask me to clean the bathroom, you ask me to, you ask me to get on the grill, you ask me to, clean out the oil, all those little things. Wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, I'll do it. But at the end of the week or at the end of the month, I'm looking at the paychecks and it's like, dude, this really ain't cutting it. So, eventually after doing it over and over again, I went to the next job and pretty much the same cycle over and over again. So my next job, working at a grocery store, just hustling. I went in as a bagger. That didn't last long. Literally, I just moved up from position to position because I had that mindset of always being the best, doing the best that I can, and position myself to be in control. In position myself, but never being in control. So having somebody else have that control over me of what's going to dictate what I make or what I get. So
yeah, now that's what's up. And I mean, those I always tell people as well, because I never really had a lot of jobs coming up, but that's just more so me and my ability to get jobs. If I was like specifically job trained for the specific jobs that were for me, I probably would have had more luck. But one thing that I will say is, so a lot of people jump straight into entrepreneurship, but I will say that the experience you get from working, a regular job, those do pay off. And if you were like a half-ass worker on your regular job, you're gonna be the same half-ass worker when you become an entrepreneur. You might be even worse because now you kind of like nobody's telling you to do anything.
Yeah.
But so for that matter, like, those skills and just being able to work inside of the box, it helps you out because you take those values with you in the hard work. Like, if you're willing to clean a toilet, doing what you're doing now is nowhere near comparison. You know what I'm saying?
You have entrepreneurs that start in their own restaurants, and they gotta be the one to be able to do that. So they gotta be the first one, to take that, because when you first start off, you're not in a position to where you can hire employees, where you can, have that outsource, you can outsource help and so forth. So like you said, it does build that character, and willingness to, to do it for yourself. So if you're willing to do it for somebody else, you should be able to do it for yourself. For sure.
Yeah, and most of the larger companies, like, so like a lot of young people, we do like this grassroots. We'll start a t-shirt company or make it big, but the big companies, like, like the larger companies, most of the times those are started by someone that has 10, 20, over 25 years in corporate experience before they put it all together. Because it take more than entrepreneurship to make a company big. Like, sometimes, you might say, okay, 5 million is cool, but if you want 100 million, you gotta have to expand your resources. You're gonna have to get some investors. You're gonna have to know more about venture capitalists and stuff like that. So there's always levels to it, and I just feel like just being able to look at any structure, whether it's a big corporate structure, just like a franchise structure, it does give you some skills, and it does give you some skills, and it basically. You basically know who's all accountable for what when you operate inside of a business for a while.
Yeah.
All right, so you said Wendy's. What's some old jobs you had coming out of just coming out of high school?
Again, stability, bro. I was all about it. I stayed with Wendy's for like 2-3 years, and then the supermarket job. I don't know if you guys have Publix up here, so I did Publix.
Oh, we got Publix.
So yeah.
I just left Publix.
Okay, yeah. So I did Publix for about 2 years, and if you work there, you know how it is. Like,
no, I ain't worked there.
Oh, okay.
I
you
went.
just left. Oh, you went
just
there.
left. Like,
oh, okay.
I got some fruit.
But yeah. As far as Publix itself, going up there, usually a lot of people, complain about not really getting hours and so forth. So that's really what I had to deal with. But I worked for Publix for 2-3 years, and then I worked for a company as an analyst, actually. So I, throughout the time of going to school, I know I left that behind. I went to college, and I started just, again, building my knowledge base and building my understanding about, corporations and so forth. So I found I found a company, and the company was actually a call center, just like how you was explaining earlier. And I just grew up in the ranks in that also. So, like I said, every job that I've had, I worked. I want to be the best. So I never liked being complacent in one area or one position. I always like to move on to the next. So I started out as a call rep, then moved on to a supervisor, then moved on to IT tech without a degree in IT, and then worked on and getting in a position of an analyst, and to, without even having a analyst degree or going to school for that specific reason. So I did that for a while, and yeah, it's been, that was actually the first career I had. So I did that for about 12 years. So
Oh, for real. Analyst. Oh, wow. And like data analyst.
It's scheduling and forecasting. So it was a
Okay.
call center. So
Okay.
basically, we just did the projections. We worked with the clients directly. So like you said, AT&T.
Uh-huh.
You had Mac Pro. You had all those big brands
Uh-huh.
that when you call in the telephone company, or when you call in for you're missing a package or something, you thinking you're calling the company directly.
Nope.
You're calling a third
They
party.
outsourced.
Yeah, they outsource the work. So so you basically calling us. So we did all the projections. So for me, my position was just to handle all the projections and the and making sure that we had enough staff and all that. And so
Nah, it's dope. Where'd you go to school?
I went to Broward College. So I did Broward
Broward.
College.
Okay.
So yeah.
In Broward County?
Yeah,
I'm
Broward.
assuming.
Yeah.
That's where Kodak Black's from?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I actually grew up in St. Pompano. Like I said, I grew up in Pompano for a little bit. So
Okay.
right on the same streets for the most part.
Okay. Was his name familiar before it came mainstream to you?
What's the name? What's
His name?
Nah, I had moved out, but
Yeah.
and he's about like 10 years younger than me. So
Of course.
when he was growing up,
Yeah.
or whatever, I was already out of the streets in a sense. So I didn't know him until he really got hot like that. So
Of course.
yeah.
That's what's up. So you went to Broward College. What'd you take up, man?
Business admin. So I just got a regular degree, man. So just to get something at the end of the day, right? So I'm not even gonna sit here and say I was successful in school. So because it was always, it was good, but I always felt like I was missing something. So I had the knowledge base, I had the experience and everything else with the work, and I just feel like I was missing something. And when I went to school, I just got a regular AA degree, and till this day I haven't used it. So I got a degree, and I have not used that degree to be able to say like I leverage that in a sense. So I honestly feel like school is important, but there's many other ways to be successful in life. So
Okay. So how was it like working corporate for as an analyst for 12 years?
It was good, but pay was good. I'm not even gonna front on that. Pay was good compared to what I was getting as a fast food person, whatever, right? So, but it consumed a lot of my time. It took time away from my family. There was days where I would be working 15, 16 hours a day. There was days where I would,
Lord.
yeah. There's holidays. Again, we working for other companies in a sense, right? So if the job needed me there for 16 hours, 17 hours, I had to be there. I had to complete my task or whatever. So it wasn't really easy. So it consumed a lot of my time. And again, doing that for so many years, you just feel like you're going nowhere. And I wasn't building my wealth. I was building somebody else's wealth. That's when I took a step back and I thought about it, and I started realizing that, because again, pay is good, but it's only giving me just enough to get by. Just enough to be able to, get a house, just enough to do this, just enough to do that. So
Just over broke. It's what jobs stand for, man.
So it was just that, and I was like, nah, I got to do something else. So I started realizing, and started, going through the weeds and just trying to figure out what can I do, what am I really good at, and I found that through credit. So I started realizing that credit was a way to fast track my dreams, fast track my ambitions in a sense. I grew up not really knowing or understanding what credit was. I actually being fearful of using my credit, because you grow in that household that, hey, you got to use cash for this, you got to use cash for that, or save up your money so you can buy this, not realizing that, you can leverage your credit to be able to take advantage of certain things in your community and your career and your life as a whole. So credit, everybody knows to buy a house, if you're unless you're going to come out 200, 300, $500,000 in cash, you're going to need credit to buy a house.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go buy a car, unless you want to get a 30% loan from a lender, you're going to need credit to get a good payment on your car. Anywhere that you go, when you go to the grocery store, when you go to the department store, you go to Macy's, they always offer you, a credit card or something like that, right? You need credit, and credit is an important factor in life.
Would you recommend getting those retail credit cards?
I would
Okay.
not.
I wouldn't. Okay.
So, yeah. I wouldn't recommend them at all, and they're just a way to just lock you in on something, right? So the contracts and everything that they have in there, it looks sweet up front, but you're not paying on the front end, you're paying on the back end.
Yeah.
So they get you with that.
Like, so, because they ask you a lot, and they know I'm gonna try to get the sweet old lady to like, she'll be like, you want to sign up for this credit card to save a percent? I'm like, nah, it's cool. You sure? It's like they try to nudge. Then I'll be like, I mean, I'm not gonna make no credit decision in a retail store. I don't need clothes that bad. But now they always try to tug you to get that credit card. I guess they get a cool commission for it or something.
Yeah, no, the companies basically tell them to do that, right?
Of course.
Because that's where the company's making the money from. So they'll offer you like a 25% discount. Not you as a consumer with the consumer mindset, thinking you're winning. All right, boom, I get 25% off. In the end, you're losing. On the back end, because they know you're not going to pay the bills. They're going to give you, like, once they send you the bill, they're going to send you like a $40, $20 payment or whatever, right? While the interest is adding up on the back end, just, coming into their pocket. So you got 25% off, but you end up paying over 100% the value of the product that you just purchased. So that's how they get you. So the department store credit cards, they're basically for consumers. You really got to start learning or start putting yourself in position to get credit cards where you can leverage. Leverage meaning you get points values, right? So like if you use your card for a purchase, you get 4x points, right? American Express is popular for that for doing that, right? So you get paid for using your card and using it wisely. So,
going on trips, restaurants give you benefits. Casinos, like they'll, some come with casino benefits. Like you might have a free stay at a hotel, but no, that's pretty cool, man. So you learned about credit as you were an analyst, like within that 12-year span.
I learned credit while I was just trying to build a family for myself. So got married, had to buy a house, got kids. So I started to have to realizing this stuff is getting expensive, So I was basically forced to start using my credit, right? And at first it was like, you have no credit, and I was like, what do you mean I don't have no credit? I had the Secure card for so many years, and it's like, nah, you don't have a proper mix of credit. You've never had a house, you've never had a car loan or so forth, right? So then I started realizing, there's more to it than just having a score, because I had a good score from jump. So because I never really used my credit, and I thought like me having an over 700 score will get me anywhere that I want. And it wasn't the fact. I was still getting denied, and then that brought me into just again researching and figuring out, this is what you need to do. And this is how you need to be able to structure your credit to be able to leverage it. So, and if you're paying attention, I'm using the word leverage, not use, because again, we're in a place to where a lot of people, especially in our community, use credit. And that's how we end up in a trap at the end of the day. So my goal and the way I move around and the way I teach people is to leverage credit. So I'm not going to get a credit card unless I see a benefit into it, right? So if I don't see that I'm going to get, X amount of points for getting this card, I'm not going to get a credit card. If I don't see that I'm going to save money on getting this car, I'm not going to get this car for whatever reason. So it's all about leverage at the end of the day.
How'd you learn about credit?
YouTube University. YouTube, just going on there, just finding certain videos and just connecting the dots. So I literally consume so much hours of my time just going there and just watching different videos, and then from there it came from implementing. So I had to take action. So one of the things that I pride myself in, when I decided to take the entrepreneurial route, my first step in taking entrepreneurial right is buying properties, right? So leveraging credit, me and my wife, we came together and we ended up buying a a mobile home. So we did a whole mobile home project and just fixed it up and everything. This was right before the pandemic. And so we just took advantage of that, and that flip worked out, and then that led me on to just keep doing new things. So I ended up realizing, oh shoot, if I use credit, I didn't use my own cash to buy this property. Let me go ahead and see what else I can do. So I started buying cars, and I started renting out cars. So I started turning liabilities into assets by renting out cars. So I went to a car lot. Went to the car dealership and ended up buying two cars, zero money down. I didn't have to pay anything. I went ahead and just got two brand new cars. Ended up putting on rent for rental, and from jump they started paying for themselves. So started building revenue on that end.
Okay, so if anyone's watching right now, make sure you guys like, subscribe to this content, leave a comment, share this with a friend if you get any type of benefits from this. We're just not starting. We're gonna drop a lot of gems this episode. So I know I looked at I was on your Instagram. Do you have any free information available for anyone that wants to get started? I know you have mentorship as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Did you still have a guide, or is that no longer available?
No, the guide is still available, and
Okay.
you guys can hop on Michael C242 and just DM me credit secrets, and we'll go ahead and I'll connect with you, and we can do something. And depending on what you want, set up a call, free consultation to talk through and see what your credit goals are and set you with freedom.
Okay, so all right, so I know besides the word leverage, we're gonna dive into that. So another thing you said is assets and liabilities. A lot of people have confused as far as what an asset or a liability is. So can you break down what an asset and liability is, and can you explain what makes your home an asset or a liability?
An asset is more so something that's going to give back to you. A liability is something that's going to take away from you. That's the simplest way I can explain it. So when you have a car is really technically a liability, because the moment you have a car, it starts depreciating in value. So you're losing money anytime that you turn the key on, you start driving it around, you take it off the car lot, it loses value. So that becomes a liability. Anytime that if something were to happen to that car, you end up owing somebody some money, right? That's what a liability. An asset, as a home, as you explained, a home is an asset because it appreciates in value. It grows as the house ages or as the market grows. The value of the home grows. An asset is also something that brings you money. So as I stated before, the car is a liability. You can actually transfer that into an asset. The way to do that is for you to have it bring you money now. So now when you take a car, you start renting it out. You're starting to make income off of that. You can pay off the car with the income that you're making, and then whatever that's left over is going into your pocket, and that's bringing in money in your pocket and bringing in the asset. And becoming an asset at the end of the day.
Okay. Okay. No, that's dope. Yep. So assets bring things that you spend money on that bring you money or bring you a return. Liabilities, things that take away your money, like the guns and butter conversation for that matter. The guns are things that appreciate, art, stocks. Well, not all stocks appreciate, but for the most part, things like that, financial instruments, real estate. The butter, that's your jewelry, your cars, and just a bunch of stuff that don't mean anything once you buy it. So there you have it, man. And all right, so look, for someone that's looking to build credit, give us a few things that they can do to start building credit. We're gonna talk about it personally, then we're gonna talk about the business.
Okay. On a personal end, there's three positions people are in. Either they have no credit, they have bad credit, or they have good credit. Bad credit meaning got negative items on their credit report, charge-offs, collections, late payments, and so forth, right? Which put them in a position to where they are not qualifiable, right? So they go to lenders or try to leverage, get credit cards or whatever, and they're not able to do that. If you have no credit, you're still in the same position, right? So you just don't have any charges, or you just have no history. And good credit is obviously you have a structured profile where you have credit cards with no late payments, you have loans with no late payments, you have no charge-off debts, you have no bankruptcies or anything else like that, right? So for somebody that's looking to get in that position to have good credit, If you have bad credit, obviously you want to work on removing those things off your credit report. You want to build certain habits, develop certain habits to where you no longer are generating late payments. You no longer are, getting yourself into bad debt. And either doing it yourself because you can actually repair your credit. A lot of things on your credit report. This is something that I also do. I do credit repair, so it led me into that to where you can remove anything off your credit report. There are certain laws and certain guidelines that the credit bureaus need to abide by, and most of the times they are not. And because we are living a mindset to where we feel like they're in control of our destiny, we don't do anything about it. But when you actually go in and you dispute some of the things that are on your report, there's possibilities of them being removed. So there's a great chance that even if you owe a debt, that debt itself can be removed off your credit report. It is a benefit to you to be able to it's a benefit to you to be able to not be held back from gaining gaining access to certain things in your life based off your credit. So attacking your credit report off of the negative items is something is very important, and it's something that I've successfully done to many clients and even for myself. As I stated before, we're going to get into the business end as far as inquiries and so forth, right? When I going to the car dealerships, not understanding or not knowing credit, gaining a whole lot of inquiries on my report, and I went to the car dealership to try to get one loan, but they ended up running my credit 5 or 6 times. I was like, dude, I didn't come here for all that. So being able to call and dispute those and say, hey, these are unauthorized inquiries on my credit report. You guys need to remove that. And having the credit agencies being able to do that right away. So just making that phone call and discussing with them and letting them know I know my right as a consumer, and they did not have the right to run my credit. They did not give me a loan. I didn't give them permission to run my credit, and they ran my credit, and it's now affecting my credibility. At this point, I want you guys to remove that, and making that demand allowed them to go ahead and just remove it right off the bat. So I've done that a number of times for myself, done that for clients and people, close friends and families also. That's for somebody, again, for bad credit, you got to get in position. You got to get in a mindset to change the things that you're doing that puts you in that position. And then also to get in position to be able to remove and be able to fix those negative items off to your credit report. Either doing it yourself. You can go through the YouTube University route, like I did, to start off. But that time is going to take, it's going to take you time. You're either going to pay with money or you're going to pay with time at the end of the day, right? So you can go that route, and you have the power to do that, and it's going to work out. But if you want somebody else to do it, sometimes you got to pay for something. You got to pay for the knowledge. So you pay for somebody who has that expertise, and sometimes it's really good to have somebody on your side that knows the right thing to say and right thing to do, and knows where to attack for your disputes. So when I always compare credit disputes to the court of law. In court of law, there's no such thing as guilty and innocent, right? So when it comes to courts, it's about it's about guilty and not guilty. Not guilty meaning that they did not have enough proof to be able to convict you of a crime. So the way I attack credit agencies is basically I put the burden of proof on them. They got to prove that this debt is legible, this debt is owed to you, this debt is something that is processed correctly. And if they are not able to do that, by law, they have to remove it off your credit report. So if they didn't follow the right procedure, so let's say as an example, late payments, right? So if you get a late payment on your credit report and they didn't communicate with you that, hey, you are going to get the creditor itself did not communicate with you within 21 days that you are going to get this late payment. You can use certain laws and certain guidelines. I think it is Consumer Law 166B. You can use that law to basically say the timing of the report of the late payment is unlawful. They did not communicate with me that this late payment was going to show up on my credit report. Right. If they cannot show proof that they did do that, they have to remove it, even though you were late. But by the fact that they don't have that proof, they have to go ahead and remove that off of your credit report. Other things as far as collections, when you have third party collections, it's all about contractual agreement. You have no contractual agreement with that third
Yeah,
party
of
collector.
course.
So when they call you and they were like, hey, you owe this debt, I don't owe you a debt. I may owe this person that, but I don't owe you a debt. So you reporting a charge on my credit report is unlawful, and by you doing that, I have the rights to sue you. So you have knowing your rights and knowing your knowing that you have the power, you can go ahead and just remove anything off your credit report.
Well, they say to hide some information from someone put in the book, but they got it on YouTube now. So if you don't like to read, you can just watch YouTube. Or, as a matter of fact, you could tap in with my brother and just whatever resources he has available, we make that available to yourself. So now talk about as far as business, someone that wants to, elevate themselves business wise and leverage credit on the business side. What's a few things they can do to get started with that process?
When you want to start a business, a lot of people start a business, they have an idea. They always feel like the limitation is the capital. They don't have the money to start. And that causes a lot of people never to really start a business because they always feel like, I got to work hard to get this money. But, leveraging other people's money, which is the bank, is one way to really get your business going. And to do that on the business front, you have to actually have one way to do it is really to have a good personal credit balance or credit account, because you can leverage your personal credit to get business credit. There's multiple ways that you can get business credit. You can do it the long way, the hard way, which can take you months to years, because a lot of lenders, that if you want to get certain business loans, business accounts, you have to be in business for 2 or more years. You have to make a certain amount of money in your revenue. But if you're a startup, you're not going to have that. Right. So if you're a startup, you're going to have to leverage your personal credit. And the way to do that, when you go in, you PG, which is basically a personal guarantee to any loans or any credit accounts that you develop with the business. And when you do that, it does not impact your personal score. Only thing that it does, all they do is do an inquiry on your credit report. And that inquiry report is just to show them who you are on the personal side. That will let them know how you're going to act on the business side, how you're going to protect your business. So leveraging your personal to get the high limit credit cards is one way that I did to start up my business. So end up getting approved for credit, $10,000, $20,000 credit cards, doing credit stacking plays, basically stacking up credit cards to be able to stacking up multiple credit cards, getting $50,000, $100,000, liquidating those cards to be able to, go on your business adventure. So if you have an idea for a food truck, and again, you have that limitation to where like, I don't have the money to buy a food truck, you can use the credit cards that you get from your business. And it could be a brand new business that you just started up. By leveraging your personal credit, it will allow you to fast track your dreams and your ambitions to actually start your business and start following your dreams. So, going into the bank and personal guaranteeing for a credit card, multiple credit cards, and only getting one inquiry for that. That's one way of doing it, right? So where it's not really impacting you. A lot of people don't know that banks pull from separate credit bureaus. And they have their specific bureaus that they pull from. And if you have a list and you know where they pull from, you can actually develop a play or develop a plan to be able to pull from multiple banks without them knowing that from each other. So, example, if you go to Chase, I know they pull from Experian, right? That's an example.
Oh, okay.
So Chase pulls from Experian. So if you go to Chase and you go get a credit card, you can get approved for a $10,000, $20,000 credit card from Chase. You're good there. And the same day, you can go to Truist and get a credit card from them. They pull from Equifax. Those two are two separate bureaus. But when you go to Truist, they will know you just left them Chase. So you now have two, and both of them give max out $25,000 credit cards. So if you have the right profile, you'll be able to max out 2 credit cards for $25,000 each. Now you have $50,000 that you can leverage to be able to do that. And those credit cards that they have are 0% interest credit cards, meaning that you're not paying any interest for 12 months. If you have a business plan, if you go in there with a strategy, you can walk away. With a solidified business or solidified product by the end of the year. Meaning you can pay off that debt. So if you have a solid business plan, you are able to make $50,000 in your business plan. You pay off those credit cards. You now have something. You now have a product. If you bought like I said, a food truck, or if you bought cars, if you bought, whatever your business plans. If you bought it to do a flip, right? So an idea of doing a flip, sometimes you need a lot of money down to get a house to do a fix and flip, right?
Yeah.
So if you're able to do that, if you're able to get $100,000 or $50,000 to do that, you're able to flip it in 6 months. You pay off those credit cards. You now net positive at the end of the day. So that's really one way to get in the game. That's one way to really leverage credit to put you in a better position, because otherwise you would have to save up $50,000 or you would have to save up $100,000 to do those type of plays.
Okay, cool. So you jumped straight from corporate America to like using credit as a way to make money.
Yeah.
What's some different ways you can make money using your credit?
One way you can use your credit to make money, as I stated before, buying cars. You can buy cars and leverage it and sell them off Futuro. You can, if you're into trading. I know you mentioned stocks earlier, right? If you're into trading, I did trading for a little while too. That was actually a fun time in my life where I did trading. A lot of trading, sorry, not a lot, but in the US there's limitations to where they call the PDT rule, pattern day trader rule, where if you're under $25,000 you have a limit to how many times you can trade per day, right? So if you've been working your craft but you've got the skills to be able to make a little you have the skills to understand how to day trade, how to use the market or how to leverage the market, you're just missing the capital. You can use the capital, or you can use the business credit, right? To get that, to fund your account. And let's say for instance you've been day trading and you have $1,000 or $5,000 account, you're able to make $100 a day. But imagine you doing the same thing with a $25,000 account or a $50,000 account. You are now turning $100 a day to $500 days to $1,000 days to $10,000 days, doing the same thing that you're doing with a little bit of money. You just getting a lot of money, being able to do that at a bigger scale. So doing, using that aspect of credit allows you to do things again in a bigger scale. If you are doing something, with a little bit of money, to start doing with a lot of bit of money. So,
right. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I know I went to your page and I saw like a lot of information about how to get money from Navy Federal, how to get a credit card or a loan.
Yeah.
Can you kind of break down break that down for me?
Yeah. For Navy is one of my favorite as far as for a bank that gives a lot of money. They are for the people. They're not one of the what are they, Fortune 500 banks that really just, try to take away from you. It's a community bank at the end of the day. So when you are are partnered with Navy, and I look at Navy as my business partner, not just the bank, as a business partner. So I help them. I put money in their accounts, and they allow me to leverage their money, right? So with Navy, one play that you can do with Navy, let's say you can use the credit card plays, but we talked about it a lot, but they also have pledge loans, right? A pledge loan, somebody that doesn't have credit, right? And you have no credit, but you have cash, and you want to start getting into the credit game, right?
Right.
You can actually do something called a pledge loan with Navy Federal Credit Union, to where you put money in a CD account or you can lock that funds up, and they will loan you that money without running your credit. But that money that they loan from you will actually start reporting on your credit. So if you don't have that mix, you don't have anything to start out with, but you have cash on hand, you can partner with them. You're like, hey, just hold this money for 6 months, and I'll borrow your money to do what I need to do, right? But you're not really going to use that money, right? The smart way to do it is to, as an example, you get $5,000, right? So you say, hey, I want to get a pledge loan for $5,000. You hold my $5,000. I'll use your $5,000. They'll report that on your credit report. When you receive that $5,000 from them, they will deposit directly into your bank account. You pay 80% of that money right up front. So you're paying barely any interest rates on that. And
Yeah.
then throughout the 6 months, whatever the remaining balance is, you just make the monthly payment of the whatever you have
Break
left
it
in that
down.
checking, right? So now that $5,000 that was just sitting cash in your account is now reporting on your credit. So you now have a $5,000 loan, which shows your credibility, which increases your credibility in that standpoint. So it increases your credibility, and now you're more likely to get higher limit credit cards, higher limit accounts, and be able to do that to start up your business or to start getting approvals in places that you weren't getting approval because you did not have any credit to begin with. So that's using your own money to be able to do that.
Okay, and I also saw that you mentioned a few other credit unions as well. And I know these are limited because every state doesn't have every bank or credit union. But just for I guess the ones that you mentioned, what are a few other credit unions that people have been using to leverage credit?
Credit unions are very powerful. Like I said, they're community banks. They're for the people first. I would always recommend individuals go to credit unions. I can name three of them off the top of my head that are really good. You have DCU, which is Digital Federal Credit Union, and you have obviously Navy Federal Credit Union. And if you're not able to get a Navy Federal Credit Union, there is another one called Apple Federal Credit Union. For those that don't know that, just Google Apple Federal Credit Union. You will see the benefits that they have. The benefits are great. The APRs that they have on there, the credit card limits that they have. They have credit cards that go up to $35,000. And on top of that, they have pre-approvals, which means that you can actually apply without impacting your credit score. So the best way for approvals, in my opinion, and what I've seen that's proven, the best way to get approved for credit cards is to build a relationship with the banks. It's important to build relationships with them, have a checking account, having savings account, deposit a little bit of money in there before you start asking for credit.
Right.
If you take take the time to build that relationship with them, it doesn't have to be much. It just could be a little $100 here, $200 here. Obviously, the more the merrier. But a couple $100 here, it actually you start building a relationship with them. So when you go asking, they're more likely to give you in abundance. So you see the limits again, like Apple Fed, like I mentioned before, they have limits up to $35,000. You can get pre-approved and know if before it even impacts your credit, you can actually know if you're approved or not. And if you come back and you're not approved, then you can you got things that you need to work out with, right?
Right.
You can reach out to me if you need to, and I can give you a little bit more advice. So again, you can reach out, Michael C242. I also got a phone number if you guys want to call, text. Again, text Credit Secrets, and we can connect. I can give you guys the number I don't really have it off the top of my head, unfortunately. It's 321-541-4336, 321-541-4336. Text Credit Secrets, and we'll be able to connect and be able to see what we can do to help you out on your credit journey.
Absolutely. And if you guys have not already, make sure you like this video if you're getting any type of value, and make sure you guys subscribe so we can keep the value coming in. Okay, so now that was dope, man. All right, so now I want you to explain to the guys what a trade line is, and basically how you can make money from selling trade lines once you build your credit to a certain standpoint, or if you even recommend that.
Selling trade lines?
Or like buying, selling, or what is a trade line? Just how do basically just talk about trade lines. What are they? And yeah.
A trade line is basically an account that you have reporting on your credit. You can have that on your personal side, and you can have it on your business side. A trade line, again, it's just an open account. It could be a loan, it could be a credit card, it could be a mortgage. It's considered a trade line, something that's reporting. On the business end, it's line of credit, it's your loans, it's anything that you are making payments to on a monthly basis. It's considered a trade line. You can purchase trade lines. Purchasing trade lines is just basically leveraging somebody else's credibility. If you've heard of authorized users is also considered a trade line. You can leverage an authorized user to basically get age of credit. So somebody that's new to credit, somebody that doesn't have anything established, you can sign up as an authorized user, which is a trade line, and have that showing on your credit report, and that account history is now reflecting on your history as a trade line. On a business side, a trade line, you can open up certain accounts where you're making monthly payments for, or if you have net 30 accounts, if you guys heard of that before. Net 30 accounts is basically you buy a product and you have 30 days to pay it, and it's like a contractual agreement. Though there are certain companies that do report to your credit, do report to the credit bureaus, like the Dun and Bradstreets, and Equifax and Experian. Those are the three major on the business sides that do get reported, and it helps develop a paydex score and a business credit history that will be beneficial on the business end in the long end. So trade lines are important. You can purchase trade lines, or you can be added on as a cosigner, as an authorized user if you have a family member. Those are ways to fast track, and those are ways to leverage somebody else's history or something else's history to benefit your credit.
Okay. All right. Cool. Do you deal with trade lines or?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I always, obviously, when on the personal end, I always recommend, hey, do you have somebody that you can personally reach out to, a
Right.
family member that you can, before you spend the money, because trade lines will cost depending on how much you're looking for or what you're looking to get. They are beneficial. I do have a trade line store. Again, you guys can reach out and we'll be able to see if we can work out, and I can get something out for you, work out a deal. Trade lines are a way to, again, if you're going shopping, if you're going shopping right away, but you're missing that one little piece on your credit report, you can just pay a couple of $100 and you get it added on your credit report, and then you'll be able to now go shopping for whatever you're looking for. So for a car, right? If you don't have any if you only have secure credit cards on your profile, and you need a solid credit card on your profile, you can buy a $10,000 10-year credit card and have it reported on your credit report for about 2 months. And in that 2 month time frame, you can go shopping leveraging that person's credit, and that will help you out. So. That's one way to do it. On the business side, you can sign up for certain trade lines to build a paydex score. And a paydex score is what a lot of businesses don't realize what you need to really have that business credit.
What is a paydex?
A paydex score is something it's reported from the Dun and Bradstreet.
Oh, okay.
So paydex score, it's a ranking to your credibility on the business side. If on the personal side, you have the credit limit numbers from 350 to 850. You have that wide range. It's reported a lot differently on the business side. So an 80 paydex score is basically you're in that like B range to, you're in that range to where you're good, right? So you can get 100. I haven't really seen anybody with 100 credit, a paydex score, but it is possible to get 100. So it's like 0 to 100, right? But as a business, your goal is to be in that 80 bracket. If you're in that 80 bracket, you are credible in from a business standpoint, right? So getting that 80 paydex score is making your payments on time, having enough trade lines on your account, having enough accounts. So there's multiple trade lines that you can open up. You have Granger, you have Red Spectrum, you have Nav Boost, you have eCredible. You have all those accounts that you can open up. I recommend getting at least 4 minimum. If you have those 4, you're making payments on those for at least 3 to 4 months, you'll start building a paydex score. And when you start getting that paydex score, you'll start being able to now going into tiers of lending. So you won't be able to immediately, on the business side solely, you won't be able to immediately get $25,000 credit cards, $10,000 credit cards, and so forth, right? It's going to take time if you're not going to leverage your personal credit at all, right? So once you start developing a paydex score, you can start getting the gas cards, right? You can start getting the store cards from Sam's Club without using your personal. You can start getting the Home Depot credit cards and so forth, right? On the business side to help your business grow once you start getting the paydex scores. But it's stages to it again. So first, developing tier ones, getting those accounts that I mentioned earlier to develop the paydex score. Once you have that, you can get the gas cards, which is tier 2. Then you can get the store cards, tier 3, and tier 4, which is the last stage, is like the line of credits and the business credit cards.
Okay, well, we're definitely going to have a lot of different links for anything that he offers. We're going to have links in the description. And my next question, so we definitely mentioned Duns. You mentioned Duns a few times. Duns and Bradstreet is basically a number required when you're in the process of acquiring business license, not license, but business credit. Can you explain what the Duns number is and how to acquire the Duns number?
Yeah. Oh, can I explain how to acquire a DUNS number? DUNS number is actually free. So you can get a DUNS number by just going to dunsandbradstreet.com. Just Google Dun and Bradstreet. I think it's like abbreviated. DNB.com is actually, it's abbreviated. But just Google that and sign up for it, right? So as long as you have an LLC, an active LLC that's registered with the Secretary of State, you can go on that website and get a DUNS number. It's separate from your EIN number. With the EIN number, you have to get that from the IRS. You can go to irs.gov and get that EIN number. So and that's the part of the business structure itself. So it's important to structure yourself properly so you are in that place of being credible too. So it's not only on the personal side, on the business side too. Having a email address, having a website, having the DUNS number, having the EIN number, having all those pieces in order is key to really being successful in starting your business.
Okay, that's what's up. How long does the process of building business credit, is that a longer process than personal credit? Is about the same thing?
Obviously, personal credit is where you're building it out throughout your life. So whenever you start doing
that makes sense.
So
of course,
business credit to really build your business credit, it does take time. It can take up to 6 months to really get a strong business credit. But like I said, if you're only leveraging your business, there's other requirements that these lenders look into, right? So if you're not looking to leverage your personal at all, only using your business credit, they're always going to ask for documentations as far as revenue. They're going to ask for documentations as far as income tax statements and so forth. And a lot of startup companies they don't have that, or they're not making enough, or they haven't been in business long enough to really generate that cash. So you're kind of forced to leverage your personal credit at the end of the day. So it's a twofold situation to where you need a little bit of both, right? So you can do it on your personal side alone, or you can but you can't do it on your business side alone. You're going to always need your personal to really take full advantage of the high limits and so forth. So,
okay. My next question, man. So, how do you feel about co-signers? So, I've had women in my life or friends in my life that have asked me to co-sign, and I always say no because I always look at their financial situation, and I say if you need a co-signer now, I'm gonna need one in the future if I co-sign you. And I've been called all type of things. I've lost a lot of friends. I started talking to women behind this. How do you feel about co-signers?
I'm 100% with you on that.
Okay.
I did the whole co-signing things for family and friends back in the day, and
Oh,
that led me in a hole, right? Having to
Real.
chase after them because they're not responsible for making the payments or whatever. Everything falls on me at the end of the day. So, when it comes to that, you have to really think why do they need to co-sign to begin with? If they're irresponsible, you co-signing for them is not going to change that irresponsibility.
No.
So that's going to negatively impact you. So you have to put that into perspective. You can't just sign for anybody because now you're going to have to pay to take things off of your credit report. You're going to have to pay to you might actually end up being responsible for the debt that they end up incurring or whatever.
You can get
right?
sued.
Basically, right? And then you're liable at the end of the day. So co-signing, I don't really agree with it 100%. If that person's habit put them in position to where they need to have a co-signer. I understand, like, let's say, for instance, you have a child, let's say you're a parent and you got a child that's starting out that doesn't have, a history or whatever, and you need to co-sign for them, do what you have to do for your child. But, me, if I got a cousin, same age, just not really doing right by their life, I'm not going to put my name on something because it's going to end up hurting me at the end of the day. So I did that actually in my younger years, and I ended up having an eviction on my credit report.
Oh
So I
yeah.
couldn't rent and actually that forced me to buy a home because I couldn't rent. I had an eviction. The eviction wasn't mine. I just co-signed for one of my siblings, right? So I went for years not being able to rent. Having to go through Craigslist to get a house or whatever, right? To be able to do that. So it's just it put me in a position that I said I would never do it again. And from then I never did. But it did help me push. It pushed me to actually have to buy a house because I could not rent because that eviction on your credit report does impact you. And I wasn't at a place to where I knew how to take it off. Now, if I end up getting an eviction, I got it. I'm good. But I'm not. But that's also the thing. I don't have that mindset. So a lot of the things too, as you grow and you start understanding, you start learning, you start building a mindset that stops you from doing the things that used to do. So being late at every event or being late to certain things or whatever, right? Once I started hanging around with certain people, once I started realizing like, if I really want to, be successful, I gotta be early. I gotta be disciplined. I gotta have a certain drive and so forth. You start changing your life habits. So I started doing that. So I was prone for being late at certain events like weddings. It didn't matter what it was. I was
Right.
late for it. Right. So again, I had to switch my mindset on that end and get around to realizing like I gotta start with me, and I gotta start with me, and then basically start growing. So
Yeah, it's like the money comes once you become a better person. So once you start developing better habits, you start noticing the opportunities to track more frequently to you, and you're able to execute better. So even what you said as far as being late, what happened to me a lot of times when I have to go somewhere important, I end up like super early, like ready to go. So what I used to do in the past was I would wait till the perfect time to go,
yeah,
but I end up late. You know what I mean? Like something 30 minutes away, I might leave an hour early and somehow still be late.
yeah.
And it'd be traffic, something I can't even
Some
control versus like, okay, well, you were ready 80 minutes before. You should just kind of went, or, like you should have went then. You would have been at least 20, 30 minutes ahead.
yeah.
So yeah, like, all right. So I know you were saying things had changed, man. Do you have a morning routine?
My morning routine right now is really to wake up and pray. I gotta remember who put me in this position. God, I've always got to put God first in everything that I do. So my morning routine is to pray, build an environment to where I am, mentally positive. I got to go in the day knowing that nothing's going to come against what God has planned for me for the day. Because a lot of times we go through a lot of distractions, a lot of heartache, a lot of things that really takes us out of the mood to really do anything. And I realize once you start the morning right, you tend to end right. So I start the morning with God, and I try to end my day with God too.
No, that's dope, man. That's dope. So my morning routine, I wake myself up by like handling like the small chores. So normally if I go in the kitchen, might have a couple dishes to be put up, or it might be like a t-shirt I didn't hang up. So I spend about 10, 20 minutes waking myself up. While I'm doing that, I normally YouTube either affirmations or just something real positive, something that I'm not really paying attention to, but when I stop and listen for a second, they screaming something positive, boom.
Yep.
Then I take my puppies out. So I got two Frenchies. I take them out 10 minutes, let them use the bathroom or whatever, because if they don't do it outside, they're gonna do
Do it
one.
inside.
They're gonna do it inside. So then after that, I hit the gym.
Yeah.
And I know that's a lot for the morning time. So I understand if people can't fit that in their schedule. And after I hit the gym, as I'm eating my breakfast, which I normally do like fruits and things of that nature, I read about 10 pages, or I read for about 10 minutes, a book, normally a self-help book. It's pretty much how I start every day. And I just kind of call that the working on me part of my day when I'm working on my mental. Man, after I do all those things, obviously prayer and meditation and all that stuff in between, normally I start off with a good day. And I just try to keep as many good habits flowing as possible, because over the years I have developed a few bad habits. And the only way to kind of neglect the bad habits is by overdoing the good habits. That's pretty much where I'm
True.
at with it.
True. It's
Yeah.
wherever your focus is at is where your prize is at the end of the day, right? So if you're focused on all the negatives, then you're going to reap that at the end of the day. So I like what you said. I like your your habits that you do. And how early do you wake up to do all that?
So I don't use alarm clock. So a good time for me is 5:30.
Okay.
So sometimes I wake up, like I was saying early. It be times I wake up at 2. Sometimes or like 3.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go back to sleep and I end up waking up later. So normally what I do is whenever I wake up, I just get to it. And 5:30 is a good time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can turn to 6:30. You know what I mean? Just depending on how I slept.
Yeah.
But it be days I wake up at 3 and I'm like fully refreshed.
Yeah.
And I just get to it. So normally in those days where I wake up super early, it'd be like a nap time. I might have like a 12:30ish nap time, cat nap.
You can't live without naps. I still take naps to this day. So,
So I don't sleep a lot. Like I have times where I can sleep 6 to 8 hours, but for the most part, it's like 3 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
So I might have to I have to take naps in order to make that make sense to my body or whatever.
Yeah. And I'm with you with that too, to be honest with you. So with the sleep regimen, it's definitely shifted, and I prioritize on working on myself. So sleep, I use it as a necessity, not a means of, not a means to glorify, not a means to like I need to be in bed all day, all night, type of mindset. I need to be on the move. So a lot of things for me, you start early in the morning. I'm up till 2:00 in the morning working, right?
Of course.
You're saying you're reading. I'm reading my books at 1:00, 2:00, right before I go to sleep.
Right.
And I have recently been in the mindset to where I really need to shift that, because I started realizing you get a lot more done if you start early rather than then you end late. So ending at 2:00 in the morning, I'm waking up groggy. I'm waking up tired. So I don't wake up at the 5:00 time frame like I should be. I'm waking up around 8, 9 o'clock or so forth. So and then one habit, but it's not a morning routine habit, but one habit I actually started to do. I started reading more, getting more books, and I started implementing that in my my shopping on Amazon. So just to call it out, so I realized I'm always shopping on Amazon every week, or I'm doing that a lot. Yeah. I'm doing that a lot. So what I do, every time I make a purchase on Amazon, I add a book. It can be a book that I got recommended to me. It could be a book that I saw somewhere. It could be a book I heard and I just had it in my notes. I have a list of books that I have down. So every time I make a purchase, I force myself to buy a book. I force myself to spend a week reading that book. So, and that builds a certain character, and that builds a knowledge that I didn't have. Because I think you said that earlier too, where if you want to hide something from somebody, you put it in a book.
Yeah.
So a lot of knowledge and a lot of information is hidden in books.
Oh, secrets.
Secrets are hidden in books, and people pay a lot of money for things, but if you really just open a book, you will find a lot of that in place. So
Glad he said that, man, because I actually wrote my first book this year. Okay. It's actually my book, and it's on Amazon, but it's a free gift, man. You coming from Florida?
Yes, sir.
It's my book, Navigate the Great, GPS to the Road to Riches. Personal self-help book that I created just to kind of teach the people different things that I live by, different principles and rules that I live by that made me the person I am. So here you go, man. I'm gonna sign it later.
Okay.
It's my book, man. You can find it on Amazon as well. Navigate the Great, GPS to the Road to Riches. It's only $10. I actually put it at a discount for the holidays. So it was a regular price of $19.99. That was $9.99. So you guys get that. If you want to support this platform in any way, that would be the way to do so, because we don't have to be here sharing these secrets. We could just kept it in the book, but we noticed that you guys don't read a lot, or that our people don't read a lot all the time, or that it's not enough of us making these books. So that's why I took the time out of my day to write a book, and I actually have this dope content flowing through this channel. Make sure you guys keep subscribed to Multiple Streams Podcast, and we're just gonna keep this going, man. So something for you, man. I don't know if you brought any books for your flight, man, but
no, actually I did, but I'm definitely read this on the way back. It's I love the title on there, the GPS for the Roads to Riches. Right there, that tells you what this is. This is a guide.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't go anywhere without GPS. I sure as heck couldn't get over here without a GPS.
Me neither.
So if I can use this book to get me to where I want to go at the end of the day, all I have to do is open it. and that's
Absolutely.
what we're missing out in this life. So this is definitely going to be a read for me on my way back home. So I'm gonna
Absolutely.
use the GPS to get here. I'm gonna use the GPS to leave. So
Yeah, I like that,
yes,
man.
sir.
All right, so look, what's a proper way to handle creditors? Like when they call you, I mean.
Proper way to handle creditors is don't admit to it a debt. Always call it an alleged debt. This is so ironic that I actually just got off the phone with somebody yesterday in that regards, where they got a collector just calling them, actually sending them letters in the mail and harassing them at the end of the day. I gave them the instructions of what they need to do, and they ended up getting a letter in return saying, "Yeah, we're stopping our dispute process. We're stopping our communication with you." Basically saying they didn't have any rights to stand on to communicate. Creditors communicating with you or calling you, they want you to admit. If you realize or you pay attention, they call you, they ask you, "Are you this person? Do you live at this house?" They're waiting for you to confirm the information. If you never confirm the information, remember, you leave the burden of proof on their end. If they can't prove the information is yours, if they can't prove that you owe this debt, they have no right to report it on there. So any information that you decide to give them, you're giving away your power.
So for anyone that's out there that wants to make this translatable, it's just like if someone says, where were you at during this time of day or some so and so? If you know that you did something or someone that you might have known did something, your response is going to be, I don't know. So it's the same way you handle creditors. If they call and ask for alleged debt, you know if it's your friend or family member calling you because their number would be in the GPS. So what you do is you just neither confirm or deny at the end of the day. So what I do personally, I only respond to things via mail. So whenever someone calls me, and when I say respond, I mean even take time to consider or pay attention. So when they call me, some creditors call me, I don't even acknowledge that I even know who the person is that they're looking for. Because if you were my friend or my family member, then you would call, then your name would pop up on the GPS, not GPS, but the caller ID. And if you were someone doing business with me, then you would be calling my business phone number. So if it's someone that I don't recognize and they're calling me and they're asking who I am, so and then another thing I say, well, who are you? Because at the end of the day, you're disturbing me. I was doing something with my day. I was recording a podcast. I was writing a book, or, I was putting some content on YouTube. You guys disturbed me because you guys wanted to disturb me for whatever reason. So I just kind of get funny with them sometimes. I do the exact same thing. I don't really look at any debt until I don't really pay attention to anything until it's actually in written form, and I can start looking at dates or I can actually recall the situation, and then we'll just kind of go from there. So basically, it's how to handle creditors. All right, so we're gonna just kind of touch on a few other things, man. How long have you been married?
I've been married for about 8 years right now. Yeah, so 2023 make us 8 years. Two kids, and we just been going at it, man. So
You got a boy, girl,
one
both?
one boy, one girl. So the girl's the oldest, and my
Okay,
son's the youngest. So proud of my joy. So 5
okay,
and 3. So yeah,
that's dope.
yes sir.
That's dope.
Yes, sir.
One in elementary school, well, one in kindergarten, one in preschool.
Yep. One in kindergarten, one in preschool. He just started school, so they both starting to go to school together. So again, this is the free time to be able to go and take him to school and watch them walk together. My son, again, 3 years old with a big old backpack, just walking, backpack's bigger than him. Just being able to see that and being able to be there for that moment. And I thank God every day for the family that I have and the opportunity to leave a legacy behind for them, at the end of the day. So I'm making my story right now. My story includes being successful and having something to leave behind for them.
Was your son's first words credit or dad?
I wish it was both of them, to be honest with you. So
You tried to say
yeah. His first word till this day is he's in mama. He's been on mama, but my daughter, that's all mine right there. She's been that all her life till this day. So that's one thing my wife can't take away from me. So, but yeah,
That's
yeah.
when did you actually exit the corporate? Like, how long ago was that since you went from corporate to where you are now?
This year, I cut the cord this year. I had to
Oh,
make a
okay.
decision.
Oh, okay, that
I
makes sense.
yeah, I had to make the decision, and I just decided to go full on in. I said it has to work or it has to work at the end of the day, right? I betted on myself, so I put everything I got into into really building a company that is there to help people.
Mm-hmm.
My end goal is really to provide knowledge and provide a an environment to where people can be successful. And by using what I've been taught, using the mentorships that that I've invested in to really just reach out to the masses, not only my community, not only my friends or my family, because I've been able to help them out and being able to get those personal calls, being on the phone with them for hours, telling them, hey, this is what you need to do, this is how you need to do it, or just come by the house or whatever, and I'll help you out with this. Doing that, and I realized like I was limiting myself to my community and being able to just grow. So I decided again to really just go all in and just build a brand, build a brand to really just reach the masses.
Gotcha. Okay, so quote you use is has to work or has to work. I like that quote because basically it's saying, man, it's my only option, and I gotta do whatever it takes to make it make sense. But that quote, from the guy that popularized that quote in the real estate in my mind was Nehemiah Davis.
Yep,
That's the guy for you.
that's the guy for me.
Okay, Neo. Shout out Neo, man. So, hey, man, it's products of your conversations, my brother.
Definitely, and that's key right there, right? Being able to be in the same room, that's the key. Being in the room and seeing his worth ethics and seeing how he does his thing and seeing his statement speak life. It spoke life to me, and now I've added that into my mindset. So again, leveraging the environment that you're in is key. So starting to go to masterminds, starting to go to networking events, something that I started to do as an entrepreneur, and building relationships with the right people is also a way to really just to develop a career. So.
Yeah. Now, yeah. So I heard about. I met Neo through David Shands.
Okay. Yeah.
So David is like, he's like I would consider him like my content coach.
Okay.
Because I've been, I basically met a lot of these people that we talk about. I met a lot of them through him, and just like the whole content strategy as far as to go about it, just kind of came from paying attention to his different coaching. And Neo, he just one of those guys. I see him in the gym a lot. So I play, every now and then I go in there and play ball, but. They in there so deep. I normally don't get a chance to call next, man. But that's what's up, man. I know another one of your mentors was Myron Golden.
Yep.
Okay, what's some things you learned from Myron Golden?
Myron Golden really is he really teaches on abundance. I can honestly say that we have a mindset of lack, a mindset to think that we are not worth more than what we are currently getting in life, and I really consider Myron Golden as one of my mindset coaches, and he's a successful speaker, a person that really knows how to build a business. Connecting with him was pinnacle really to my development as an entrepreneur. It really removed the barriers that I had in my head about the things that I would be able to do. I thought, again, I was limited to my community, limited to my environment, but I realized I can reach the masses with what he's doing and following his footsteps, I should say. Sorry, following his footsteps is allowing me to really, see that there is an abundance in anything and everything that I'm doing. Leaving behind a legacy, leaving behind a story, having a story to tell. So Myron's definitely allowed me to also being in that group allowed me to connect with other individuals. I think I believe you had interviewed him too. I watched the podcast of that one. Darian Delvante.
Dwayne,
Yeah. So he's part of the mentorship too. So he's also in the same field as me.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
Affairs. So
exactly.
Being able to sit down with him and having the one-on-ones and being able to talk and use and see how he does his thing and seeing how and just connecting mine and we be able to leverage each other's experiences.
Yeah, because I mean I just interviewed him. That's a good thing you mentioned, and we just basically had two totally different conversations. Like the stuff that me and him harped on. We not like that's how big this is. A lot of people have the scarcity mindset to where they feel like, oh, he does credit or he does e-commerce. Okay, well, they gonna maybe it's not enough money for at the end of the day, if your name ain't TransUnion or whatever, man, we all at the bottom of the totem pole, just basically trying to educate everybody, and we don't all do everything the same. You like if I were to go to Durain, it might be for straight consumer law information. If I go to him, it might be to delete some things off my credit report. At the end of the day, man, it's all about financial. It's all about wealth. It's all about putting people on to the games that we've been. Because at the end of the day, I go into a lot of rooms. A lot of my friends and family members aren't there with me, and I have this wealth of knowledge. And sometimes they don't really want to hear from me because they saw me before I had the knowledge. So it's kind of hard to believe that I really learned some life changing stuff. So like it definitely just helps to keep tuning in these types of podcasts. And at the end of the day, we're just trying to save the people. At the end of the day, if we make a little money in the process, cool. But more so, we definitely, people like me and himself, we definitely provide way more than we expect to receive back. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure his mindset is going to keep attracting wealth, just like mine is. My mindset is also going to attract wealth. So, any of the crumbs I don't get a chance to pick up, it's okay. But I want to make sure that I do save some crumbs, or not necessarily crumbs, just a whole wealth of knowledge for anyone that wants to learn. And so yeah, that's what's up, man. Myron Golden, yeah, he seems like everyone's favorite mentor.
Yeah, pretty much for the most part, right? So you have mentors and mentors in itself, some people that you would consider. A lot of my mentors actually, gone to him and connecting him and connecting the dots. I was like, why not go to the source? So being able to see that and seeing some Jim Rhodes is his mentor, and just seeing all the and just being in that environment. Honestly, it changes you as a whole, and being around individuals that think differently, like you said, people that you grow up with, they look at you a certain way because they know you from your past. They know you before you are who you are right now,
right?
And they always look at you in that way. But when you're in an environment where people think differently, where people don't know who you are and see who you want to be in life, right? And they look at you on that end. So a lot of people, especially going into this entrepreneur route, they looked at, oh, now it's Mike, I don't think you really know how to do credit. I don't think you know how to until they started seeing the success stories, until they really started like, so you do know what you're doing at the end of the day, right? And then that's when they start coming out of the woodwork, and that's expected. At the end of the day, you don't know it, so I have to build that trust, and I know that I have to build that trust, and at the end of the day, it's just building value. So anybody that comes my way, my objective is really just to pour into you whatever I have.
Man, I got I saw one of my main businesses. I'm in e-commerce, buy, sell, trade, sell like on Walmart.com, eBay, Amazon, and basically my whole business thrives off of buying things that people don't. I turn trash into treasure. So what that means right now, currently, a big part of my business is basically recycling electronics and resell. So everyone has a broken phone or broken game console or a game they don't use. I basically buy those from people locally, and I resell them to either people or just like discount stores, or I go to stores and I take some of the inventory that they're not selling and I resell it online. Man, but when you in the hood, people will swear I sell drugs, and it's like I don't want you to believe that, but I can't convince you. Other than putting out a video a day, I'm pretty much transparent as far as what I do for a living, because I post a lot of content just because I'm in this content space. But yeah, people will never like go past a skeptic, especially when they know you already. Going back to what we were saying before, so you've been married for 8 years.
Yes, sir.
Y'all been together longer than that?
Yeah, about 12 years. So
12 years.
Yeah.
So you met her as soon as you got your good job. As soon as you got his good job, things started turning around.
Yeah. Because like I grew up, like I said, in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. That was me living the fast life, man. I was 21, college, and just doing my thing, right? So
Yeah.
I decided to move a little bit out of the outskirts of South Florida, so little Central Florida, so where it's a little bit more quieter.
Yeah.
And when I first moved, I could say first 6 months I hated it. Because it was too quiet. I wasn't used to the quiet. But I realized that's what I needed. I needed to quiet the outside noises to really understand and know what's important in life. So that's when I started to settle in, started to figure out, okay, I need to start building a family. So I need to start finding a wife. So I found her, and we started building a relationship, and I started realizing, all right, boom, this is real. We're going to do this for real. And we started taking steps to developing that. So
that what's up, bro. Out of all that, I just heard that you were very intentional about what you wanted. You switched locations, which helped you, you changed environments, which helped you change your life. So anyone that wants to be like this guy when you grow up, you have to remove yourself. You have to remove yourself from the surroundings that you're used to, and whatever you want, you got to put inside of your head. This is what I want, I'm gonna go after it, and it has to work or it has to work. So that's what's up, man. Does she currently work?
She does, but she's honestly the one she's always had the entrepreneurial mindset. She's
Oh
always
yeah.
been the go getter. Like I mentioned before, I'm the one about safety, security, providing, making sure I have. That's why I always committed with work, making sure that I had a job. I've always, since I was 16 years old, always made sure I had a job because I never want to be in a position to where I never have, or I'm dependent on somebody else to pay my bills, right? For her, she kind of balances me out a little bit into where she is a risk taker. Throughout the whole time that I knew her, she was willing to, invest money in here or to take a chance in this business or take a chance in this concept. I've always been the one to be like, let me take the logical route of it. Like, does it make sense? Do we have enough money? Do we even know what we're doing and so forth? And she's the one that pushed me into, going into the entrepreneurial route. So by her having that drive, it pushed me out of that scared mindset of not trusting in myself and believing in myself, and to really just start investing in myself. So she's been I've been the breadwinner for the family and providing. So as far as job wise, she hasn't really had a job, but she's been the one that's helping me build that courage to really bet on myself.
So from what I'm hearing is you were just pretty much a straightforward, honest guy, just pretty much working as hard as you can, as many hours you can, willing to even clean up a toilet or two if you got to.
If I had
And
to.
then basically you were already programmed to pretty much just be you're pretty much programmed to be a 1, 2, 3 ABC 9 to 5, follow the instructions type of guy and follow risk within, the box. And she just kind of opened you up out of your shell to where you're taking more risk, or now you're taking a gamble.
Yeah.
And now you're more so anticipating versus calculating. That's
Yep.
what's up, man. Sounds like a wife to me, man. So for anyone that's an entrepreneur or just someone that wants to make it further, I feel like make sure you have someone that can add value to you in this type of way. It's not always about the money, it rarely is, but more so support and those conversations after a long day at work. You gonna make me feel bad about working, or you gonna say, okay, keep going because it's not gonna be forever.
Yeah.
Okay, so how you feel about the whole 50-50 thing? With this conversation has arose a lot. It's a lot of mixed. It's not necessarily a lot of mixed things. I just want to hear what successful people have to say about this. People that are successfully married.
There's no such thing as 50-50. I think when you do that 50-50, you put limitations in it. You got to go 100% in on both ends. It's just based off of what you bring to the table. So as a husband, as a father, I bring security. I bring the finances. I bring protection. I bring those to the table. I don't expect my wife to do that. So I'm not going to go 50-50 on on that end. Like, if if somebody's knocking on the door, at 3 o'clock in the morning, okay, I did it last time, you do it this time. No, I'm going to be the one to answer the door. I'm going to be the one that stands in front of stands in front of the bullet, right? It's not 50-50. So it depends on it not depends, but it is based off of what you're bringing to the table and you giving 100% of that to that. So me telling my wife, you don't have to work a 9 to 5. I'm going to take full control of that. I'm going to make sure that our family is provided for. I did that part by her saying that she's going to be able to stay home with the kids and allow me to be able to be out here, be able to travel, be able to do that. She's doing that part of it. So there's no such thing as 50-50. And if you do 50-50, you're limiting yourself, in my opinion, man. You're limiting yourself to the possibilities. You just got to have a partner that you're willing to give your all to.
Okay, all right. Let me ask this, because y'all been together 12 years. Married 8 years. Did you have it in the beginning to where you were already a provider, or did you have to work your way up into becoming a full-time provider?
No, I've always had that. Like I said, everything. Like,
He said, I always had my money right.
I've always had a priority. Like I said, when I started paying bills early, I started helping my parents out early. So having that responsibility, having that mindset of being responsible, having that mindset of, putting first everybody, the people that I care about, was always there. So when I connected with her, that mindset was already there. I already knew that I was going to be able to do that. Even to this day, even if you were making money, like, I know my part. I know what I can do. You can't take that away from me. So I'm going to provide for you. I'm going to take care of what I need to take care of to make sure my family is covered at the end of the day. It's always about providing. I never like to see anybody that's close to me suffer or struggle. So I do whatever that's in my power to make sure that everybody's good, whatever I can do. So
Yeah, nah, and I'm glad you said that because for the most part, I feel like if you're not like in a realm of getting married, that question might be pretty far from you, anyways. Because it's like obviously I can say that I'm not finna take care of somebody I don't even know yet for do this. But at the end of the day, man, when you got somebody that's that close to you, you're gonna be super like you watch cartoons growing up.
yeah, yeah,
I don't want nobody else being Batman, Spider-Man, or Superman. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? For that matter. And I want to be a majority stakeholder.
yeah,
In any company I run. Well, not necessarily. Like some things I'd rather just be a minority. But in my household, I gotta be a majority, man. But as far as the dependency, it's not necessarily about me taking care of somebody. I just know, man, I never trusted anyone to provide anything. Like I never trust anybody to give me a ride or just I never been the type, never asked any of my friends for money coming up, never asked anyone for $20. I wouldn't even ask you for a ride unless I had some gas money. And it's just like that dependence. I just know I'm gonna take care of my bills, you know what I'm saying? So if I'm housing someone and I'm it's the same responsibility. It might be a little more because now we got to pay a little, buy more groceries, or the lights might be on loan a little more. But at the same time, man, before you say I got your life and we gonna do this, that, and the third, um, at the end of the day, if before I say I'm gonna be fully responsible for everything, I gotta be fully responsible for everything because that's just where my confidence is. I'm confident if I got the keys.
yeah,
But if I got to ask for the keys,
yeah,
borrow the keys, and I don't really have confidence that you're gonna say yeah when I really need this vehicle or
yep,
whatever. So me
yeah,
being my own vehicle, I got the keys to my Jeep, man,
yeah.
for the most part.
That lead me to a story, man. Back in the day, to where I bought my first car, where I ended up in a bad loan, man, because I was sharing cars with my sister at one point, and one day she took the keys away from me. And when she took the keys, I don't know, we got in an argument for whatever reason, right? She took the keys away from me. I had to go to work, and that was the first time I had to really walk to work or take the bus or whatever. I wasn't expecting it. The next day, I went to the car dealership. I said, no matter what, I'm buying a car. I bought a car that day. So I didn't care what the loan was. I didn't care what it was. A 30% interest rate. I didn't read no paperwork. Give me a car right now, because I don't like depending on people. I don't like people to feel like they're in control of what I am able to do or whatever, right? So that factor is really my character in a sense. I just that connected the dots right there. Like, nah, that's probably why I'm a provider for myself, for my family, because I don't want anybody to be the one, giving me a handout, or I'm dependent on you doing this for me to be able to have, or I need, like you said, a ride or whatever. I honestly feel like my drive is way too big, and my ego is way too big to really have to be in that position. So
Yeah, it is, bro. I don't like being in a position where I could be told no.
yeah, yeah,
I don't like that. I don't even like asking. I don't even ask for sex, bro, because I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to get told no.
Oh, come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
That's,
But
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't like being told
What
no,
you tell
bro.
me no? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't like to be told no. I was gonna say, man, can you tell people how to use credit cards and rewards points to live a luxury lifestyle of their choice? And because a lot of you guys are out there paying for lots of dates and not using the credit card. And at the end of the day, man, whether the date goes well or not, you should be able to get some reward points for the time and for your time, for that matter. So, can we explain that before we go get up out of here?
Definitely, definitely. And one thing I wanted to leave, and hopefully this sticks with somebody. If you're using your debit card to pay things off or to pay things on a regular basis to go grocery shopping, you're doing yourself a disservice. Debit cards gets you no points, gets you no value, no nothing. It's just money straight out of your accounts. We need to use our credit cards to pay off those things. So getting ourselves those high limit credit cards or those high value credit cards with points values allows you to be able to make money by spending money. So using a credit card to go on a trip, using a credit card to go grocery shopping. So if you have an American Express at the end of the day, right? An American Express, they have their gold card. And I got one on the business side. I got one on the personal side. When you swipe that card, you get 4x points. If I end up going to the grocery store, I know I'm gonna spend $200. I just use my credit card and I just transfer the money from my debit from my bank account into my credit card. I just made 4x points. So if I spend $200, that's an easy $40 or whatever, right? At $40 that I can go use those points to buy, to go shopping for an outfit or go shopping for whatever, right? You can also use your points you can use your credit card even to pay your rent. There's a lot of people that, if you think about it, I can put simple math in this situation where there's some rental portals that allow you to use credit cards to make your payments. So instead of using your debit card or using your bank account, you can use your credit card to pay. There's a small little fee that goes into it, right? But if you have the right credit card and use it for the right reasons, so I have boatload of credit cards, but I have them for all specific reasons, right? So if I have my American Express Gold card that gives me 4x points, I use that card to pay my my rent. I was going to pay my rent anyways, right?
Right.
So
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable. You have no choice. You're going to pay your rent. So if I
Right.
use that to pay my rents, I get 4x points. So if my rent is $2,000, so for $2,000, 4x. If you use the math, use the calculator, you guys can do that at home. Let's say in the easy example, that's $400. So for every $2,000, you get 400 points. 400 points. You add that up. By the end of the year, you have $2,000 worth of points just by paying your rent. Something that you were going to do automatically. By the end of the year, you got $2,000 automatically in your account that you can use to go on a trip, that you can use to buy Christmas gifts. Because if you started from January, you went December. We spend all our money on our kids. We spend money on ourselves buying gifts for everybody. Imagine being able to do that for free. For something that you are already doing, and that's just your rent. Imagine using your credit card for every other things, right? So you have credit cards that you can use to get gas points. You get 2x gas points. So when you're looking or shopping for cards, look at what the benefits are. They have credit cards that give you cash bonuses for signing up, right? So Chase, I think Chase is like $400. So I was going to spend $2,000 anyways. Why don't I just use my credit card to spend the $2,000, pay that off with that, pay it off, and I got $400 in my account.
Right.
And one little hack, if you guys got a business that if you don't already have a Truist account,
I got one.
They're golden. If you don't already have a Truist account, you can open a Truist business account and let them know you want to use their promo. They'll give you $400 if you only deposit. If you only have to deposit $1,500 into that account. Once you deposit that $1,500 within a month, they will go ahead and put $400 into your account. So it's a quick and easy way to make a little bit of money when you're starting up your business, or if you just need something off the side. So finding those little hacks are really key and golden. So knowing how to leverage that type of information, knowing how to look for that is really good, and it's really a way to be able to take advantage of the offers that's out there that these banks have.
Okay. Did you have anything that you wanted to leave the people out, and also like just reconfirm how they can find you before we get up out of here?
All social media platforms, you can find me at Michael C242. That's Michael C242. Again, you guys can reach out, DM me. I'm there. I'll answer questions. Also, content will also continue to go up. So, doing a lot of financial literacy. We're teaching you how to leverage teaching you how to leverage these accounts, teaching you how to be able to take back what's actually owed to you, and being able to be credit free and setting up credit freedom at the end of the day. So you guys can reach out, definitely. And then also tap in. And if you DM me credit freedom, I will go ahead and send you a free guide on 5 steps to credit mastery. So
do you have any high ticket programs that you want to?
Yeah, I have a coaching program, and I actually have a coaching program that I'm building and developing. I have a wait list. So if you guys can also, again, DM me wait list, I'll send you a link to where you can sign up for this high ticket program, where this program will teach you how to dispute with the credit bureaus. It'll also teach you how to leverage your credit to be able to use other people's money to gain up to $50,000 in funding for your business, not impacting the DTI on your personal side, not impacting any type of debt or utilization on your personal side, using solely your business, getting up to $50,000 in that.
Okay, so guys, make sure you follow, like, subscribe. My name is Bam. You follow me at Bam Concepts on Instagram, Twitter, and other platforms. And man, we just did a dope interview with my brother Michael Charles. And remember, man, good things go to those that hustle.
Yes, sir.